Hi there, my name's Barnaby, a guitar maker and occasional guitar player here in Tokyo, and I'm going through this book, Rhythm Guitar 365 by Troy Nelson, in an attempt to improve my rhythm playing, based on the principle that we all like to work hard on our solo playing and develop flashy chops, but when it comes down to it, being able to play good rhythm guitar is a skill that most of us lack, and I know I'm certainly lacking in this department. And I really am enjoying this book. I am now 48 weeks into it, which means I'm almost finished. So what I do is I do a weekly video, and then I do a talking head video like this one once every 8 weeks. So I'm going to be talking about weeks 41 to 48. As I have said in other videos, if you've watched them, I apologize for repetition, the exercises are arranged in 4-week blocks. So 41, 42, 43, 44, you would get a Monday exercise, and then the next Monday, the same exercise, but in a different key, the next Monday, and the next Monday. Tuesday exercise would be repeated 4 times in different keys, and so on. And this makes it a very methodical approach. It means that at the start of a 4-week block, the exercises are unfamiliar and a bit difficult. By the end of the 4-week block, they are familiar. They just feel like coming home. So week 41 is a hard week. Week 44 is an easy week. Week 45 is a hard week. Week 48 is an easy week. It's not that the exercises get any easier, it's just that you've played them more, so they're just more familiar. I really like this kind of well-structured, methodical approach. So let's look at the week 41 to 44 exercises to start with. The Monday exercise was a kind of police-style exercise. It was based on these kind of Andy Summers chords, you know. Right? Right, and that was really good. It used some palm muting, which is a good thing to practice, and there were some really nice finger stretches, like this chord. And one of the good things about this chord is that if you wanted to play it open and let it ring, right, you could do that and get that beautiful sound. You could experiment with it, bring out different voices or whatever. That was just something you could do while you were working on the rhythmic parts. But of course it calls for it to be lightly palm muted. Okay, anyway, nice exercise. All 4 examples of it, 41, 42, 43, 44, were really solid and fun. The Tuesday exercise, country again, not my favourite thing, but good for finger strength because it's all about bends and hybrid picking as well, which is always good to work on. So it's this kind of, oh, actually, sorry, it's a semitone bend. There you go, right, that kind of. Now that isn't hard. Then you go down and there's a major bend, whole tone bend, gives you a C major chord. But then, and this is something you sometimes get in these exercises, you'll get a whole tone bend on a lower fret. And these are really hard. They kill your fingers. Because you've got to go here. These are fairly light gauge strings. With heavy gauge strings, I imagine this would be near impossible. I doubt I could even do it on an acoustic. Let's find out. No, can't do it. So maybe I just don't have the finger strength, but I find that if I practice these exercises for too long, my hand gets really sore, my fingertips hurt a lot. And I've been doing bending exercises for a long time. These ones just seem to be quite painful, but that's probably a good thing. It's probably better to have tougher fingertips and stronger hands. So no real criticisms from me. I don't enjoy them, but I recognize their value. There was this kind of metal exercise. Which was great. It had these power chords, which were stabs, followed by these kind of palm muted low notes. And that was great fun. You had this which was really good fun. I could imagine myself actually having hair and genting out or something. Good stuff. After that, funk exercises. These are just standard funk exercises moving down chord versions. So for example, if you're in E minor, that's E minor. That's E minor. That's E minor. It doesn't do the last one, but it's implied, right? So you're basically moving through different positions of the same chord, which is a really useful thing to do. That's your minor positions. Then you've got your major positions. And then what's that? And so forth. Okay? So this is a really useful funk exercise. Again, it's got those choke notes and so on. All the funk discipline you could possibly want in this exercise. Very nice. There was some jump blues. And this was a fun one again because it used this so I would pivot around my thumb and pardon me, being able to keep the chord, slide the whole chord up and down was really good discipline. So I enjoyed the Friday exercises as well. The Saturday exercises use that, and I'm getting a lot better at this, which is pick and then fingers 2, 3, 4 to get the chord voicings, and then I'm using my thumb. Okay, and so these jazz exercises are very, very straightforward. Right? That's actually the note, that B flat, by the way. Some of the voicings in the basses are a bit weird, but they're only weird on passing notes, and so it's understandable in terms of jazz harmony. So, good fun. The Sunday exercise was another one of these kind of Jimi Hendrix styles. And it has all this, you know, double stop slides and all that stuff. And it was a good, useful exercise. I like listening to this style of playing. It doesn't seem to suit the way I play myself, and I always feel really awkward doing it. But having gone through these exercises has been helpful. Maybe I will incorporate that style of playing in the future. Who knows? Okay. Going on to weeks 45 to 48, there's not a lot to say beyond just going over each exercise. The Monday exercise, good fun, uses this kind of, right? Nice. And then the next one is always, whoops. Sorry, I didn't stretch my little finger out enough there. And it's a really useful exercise. It employs bar chords, palm muting, string skipping, a whole bunch of useful techniques. And I really kind of got into this riff. And if you play it with distortion, you get this muted lower voice and this kind of singing upper voice, and it's a really cool effect. So Monday exercise, great fun. Tuesday exercises, bends again, but this time instead of having the bend beneath, you've got the bend above. So the first bend we encounter is this. Hang on. So you're bending the upper note of the triad at this point. To make here an E minor in second inversion. So These are a different type of bend from the push down bend. It's the pull up bend. For the semitones, it's not really a problem. For the full tones, when you're holding these down, I found that what I was doing was actually collapsing my finger and rolling towards the front part of the finger to make the bend happen. So my finger goes young, like that. And I don't know if that's good technique or not, but it seemed to be the only way I could do it without moving the other fingers and bending them out of tune. And I found that consistently across the 4 weeks. Okay, the Wednesday exercise is great fun again. Let's do it with some distortion. And it's great because it uses stab chords, it uses palm muting, and then it uses this, which is great fun. Something it also does is it gets you to stretch out that sort of stuff, so working with a bar and a space between each fret, which is great. It's harder down here. One of the later exercises starts with this D, C, B flat, and then what's that? A, G, F. And that's really stretching. But it's great exercise, it's fun to play. When you get it working, it sounds really, really good. I could never quite get it working well in any of the videos, but when I practiced it with the camera off, it just kind of came out great. So, you know, I guess what a friend of mine once called red light fever, I suppose. The funk exercises, these were pretty cool. These were a little bit different in that week 45 and week 47 were the same exercise. Week 46 and week 48 were the same exercise. They had the same rhythmic pattern, but the chord shapes were kind of, well, were different, radically different. So on week 48, week 45, we've got that's a kind of good riff, right? The other ones, however, started on a minor seventh. So week 46 and week 48 we're using that full 6-string minor seventh voicing. But they're fundamentally the same rhythmic exercise. One thing I found about this is it was at 66, and when I slowed it down to 33, it was really hard to keep a kind of rhythmic image in my mind. And somebody commented on one of my earlier videos that actually once you start to get down to those low tempi, the brain finds it really difficult to make a connection, a meaningful rhythmic connection between clicks or sounds, which accounts for why it's so difficult. But maybe that also means it's a really good thing to work on. I'm not quite sure. Okay, the Friday exercise was jump blues. Nice bouncy stuff. Right? You would have this. And so that was a fairly straightforward and enjoyable exercise. Again, if you got into the groove, it just popped out naturally. Saturday is the same kind of jazz walking bass thing, but it's got one interesting addition. So if we listen to just one bar of it, what is the voicing here? Yeah. Okay, can you hear that? So rather than playing, we get this kind of divided chord, split chord, you know, kind of standard thing that we find in jazz, right? So, one odd thing about this is that we've got this weird voicing here, right? So we've got, which is a very unusual voicing. But it's only a passing note, and the more you play it, the cooler it sounds. And notice I'm doing all of the 6 strings with my thumb. So that makes it very easy to play major 7th chords if I want to play odd voicings like that, or that, or that. Having the thumb there allows these fingers to move as they wish. And it's a very useful technique. Okay, so the Saturday jazz exercise, good stuff. And the Sunday was just a standard rhythm figure, which was... And this exercise sounds quite easy. What's hard is keeping these slides in time and precise. It's very tempting to go or, partially or overextend, especially in some of the slides where you've got this figure. So rather than just being a bar, you've got different frets and different strings. And I found that this one particularly had a tendency to go too far. So it was hard. But I worked on it and I got there. So, what can I say about these exercises? Well, I love the method, the kind of methodical approach that they have. I find this a really useful book. I think it's, because it's so well structured and because it works on rhythm fundamentals, I genuinely do think it's a better book for beginner, intermediate, upper intermediate players than guitar aerobics. I would like to see this book with an accelerating drum track, as guitar aerobics has, but not going up to an insane speed. So for example, this one here goes up to 60. It would be great if we had an accelerating drum track that went from, say, 30 to 60. There were 4 increments or something. That would be a really helpful thing, I think. But you can do that yourself with just a metronome if you want to practice it. So yeah, overall I'm impressed by it. I continue to be very happy with the time I've spent on this book. I don't consider it time wasted at all. One thing I will say is that as I'm coming close to finishing this book, I am getting a kind of sense of completion. I'm going to finish it, I'm going to get it done, and but I realized that the sense of completion actually applies to the videos that I'm doing. In other words, once I've finished the last video, it doesn't mean I'm going to be putting this book away. What I'll probably be doing is incorporating it into regular practice. I did the same thing with guitar aerobics after I finished it, and I'll probably go back and do quite a bit of guitar aerobics again, and they'll both get kind of incorporated into my regular practice routine. I will be familiar with all of these exercises, obviously, by the time I finish the book. I've gone back and looked at much earlier exercises and found that actually they're still in my fingers. And I credit the 4-week block approach with making that happen. So I'll keep this book in the practice rotation, I think. Okay, so that's it. The next time you actually have a talking head video from me will be for the final exercise in this book, which is day 365. And then I'll give a general sum up of the whole thing. I imagine what I'll say is pretty much what I've said here. 4-week blocks are good, working on rhythm is good. It's a great book for beginner, intermediate, upper intermediate players to build, maintain, and even improve skills. So yeah, I'm a big fan.